Ron, your takeaways are?
Well, some good things. The biggest disappointment early on was the first defense had opportunities to get off on third down. We didn't convert. They converted, and that's unfortunate. And that's probably the biggest thing that I saw with the first bunch. I thought they had some opportunities. They went out and did some things that I thought they could have done better. Offensively, we missed a couple throws early. I think Cam was a little jacked up, and he threw a couple high balls that he normally hits. He had hit them all year in training camp, and he missed them. But the second series is really what we were looking for. I thought it was a good mix of run and pass. And again, we converted when we had to, so that was huge. But again, the third down conversion thing is, a little concerning right now. We just got to be better on both those situations. Did like what I saw from the backup quarterbacks. I thought both guys played well. Both guys did some really nice things, and we had some guys make plays across the board as a football team. But there's still a lot of work to do.
Were they targeting Kevon specifically?
No, again, when you go back and look at what they were doing. When we were off, they threw the hitches. When we were on, they ran the fades. I mean, it's a very basic thing, and it's one of those things that Kevon's got to be better at. He was up in position, went to jam the receiver, and the receiver slung him to the side, so he was in a chase position from that point. And it's one of those things that we'll work on. A game plan thing tells us you can do some different things to help them. And again, this was pretty basic as far as what we did, but targeting them, no. Doing what they do on their offensive side, yes.
Trey Turner this week said the best word to describe how he feels North Turner's offense is running right now is efficiently. And I think the way that Christian McCaffrey was utilized really showed that in that second series. What did you see on that series?
I saw exactly what you're talking about, Jordan. I was real pleased with the way the ball was spread around. We hit different people. We had different people open in certain situations. Quarterback delivered a couple of good balls after he kind of got the rust off a little bit and threw some really nice balls. I like the way we ran the ball, I like the way we mixed the runs up. Again, it's one of those things as we continue to work developing our offense, you'll see it continue to grow.
Shaq Thompson's big play seemed to put a little juice.
It did, because defense, we put the second bunch in for the most part. Shaq had only gotten 7 plays because we were playing nickel as well, so he missed out. So we sent him in for one more series, and it paid off because he made a big play for us. But it did. It brought a little juice to everybody and kind of energized us as a football team.
The opposite side, Jarius Wright, including getting yards after the catch, really seemed more physical than I think people give him credit for.
Absolutely, and I agree with that. I think he's a much more physical player than people give him credit for, especially in the slot. But then we also saw DJ do the same thing. Curtis Samuels. It was really good to see the different weapons being utilized today. And again, it's as we continue to develop and grow this offense, as Norv continues to do the things that he feels we can do, I think we still have potential for growth.
Could you expand more on those backup quarterbacks and what you saw?
Well, again, each one of them came in, and I believe each one of their first series were a little rusty. But once they settled in, you saw a little bit better pinpoint passing. You saw some good mix of running and throwing. I thought play calling was excellent. It was very diverse and really utilized our different formations and personnel sets that we have. I thought both of them showed good command, and both of them threw nice touch passes when they had to.
Did you get to see a replay of the Jermaine Carter helmet rule call? Did you see that?
Yes, and again, that's what they're talking about because unfortunately JC came in with the head down, and that's what they're trying to prevent. And then the one on them. When Hood was running the ball, he was in one of those vulnerable positions. The guy came in and they hit helmet to helmet. And again, as a defender, when you come in, you've got to be careful about how contact's initiated.
It seemed like Carter was all over the place tonight. Is that an extension of what you've seen in camp?
Yes, that's exactly what we've seen in camp. Unfortunately, Andre Smith pulled his hamstring, so we lost him early. And we were already down linebackers with Ben out, so it was tough going for those young guys at the end. They played a lot of snaps and they did a great job. So I can't wait to watch the film because there's a lot of guys that played hard and did the things that we needed them to do.
You said Cam was a little jacked up early. When we saw him trying to talk to Kelvin before the game, do you think that
No, I had nothing to do with it.
Any thoughts on that?
No, Cam's always excited when it's football, and he's really one of those emotional guys, and he gets out there and he threw a couple high balls. I mean, he had Greg open. You liked him just settle in a little bit, slow down, and deliver a good pass. The other time he threw a little bit off his back foot and the ball sailed. But for the most part, he handled what we did very well. We drove down our second drive and scored a touchdown, and that's what we're looking for.
Do you see more confidence in Shaq Thompson?
Oh, yeah, very much so. I think, again, it's he's at a point now where I think he feels himself, playing to his ability. I mean, he's a fourth-year player. some of the things that we do on the defense are suit him very well, and he knows that. And again, we're excited to have him continue to grow in what we're doing.
I know you can see that well on the field, but how do you see that off the field?
The way he interacts with his teammates when they're around. Instead of being that guy kind of on the edge, now you see him in the middle of things, and that's a little more about maturity and growth.
We've talked a lot about DJ Moore and his ability to make people miss, and it seemed like that third down conversion where he was going to the left side made a couple people miss. Is that kind of how you envision his role, as taking a short pass?
Yes, and not just him, but we saw Curtis Samuels do it. We saw Christian do it. We saw Jarius Wright do it. And we got guys that run well with the ball in their hands, and that's one of the things that we need to be able to do is get the ball into these playmakers' hands and let them make plays.
Does that come with that North Turner efficiency?
Yes, very much so. I kind of believe that, and not just necessarily short passes, but it's based on taking what they give you as well. And again, it's up to the quarterback to make those decisions. And as I said, the one thing he's done is he's made consistently good decisions all training camp.
What went into the decision-making process with putting Cameron Artis-Payne in, and then CJ playing a big chunk of the second and third quarter?
Well, I think it's just part of a rotation. We got to find out how these guys are going to work together. I mean, we've got 3 quality backs that are veteran guys. We have Kenyon Barnard, who showed a flash today. We saw Hood, who did a nice job. We saw Reggie carry the ball a little bit. We've got some guys that have some ability, and we've got to kind of figure them all out.
Were you able to see anything from the guards?
Yes, very pleased with what we did. I mean, we had a couple things that I got to take a closer look and see kind of what happened. We had some leakage. They had a couple run-throughs that made some plays against us. But watching the guys play, I thought they handled it pretty good. I thought Taylor Mooten did a nice job today too, as well, at right tackle for us.
It looked like y'all left him in through most, if not all, of the first half,
right,
just to get him assimilated.
Absolutely. The biggest thing for him is just really about playing right now. And at the same time, we got to be smart with him. But he's got to get conditioned. He's got to get as many snaps as he can as we go forward.
Do you have a timeline for Andre, and what's the deal with Ben Jacobs?
No timeline, and Ben had a groin. I think it was a groin, and so we worked him out today, and he wasn't ready to go. And same thing for James Bradbury. James had a groin, he wasn't ready to go, so we didn't want to put anybody out there and get anybody hurt.